gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
So the August 31st Raw was pretty good. It was a pretty good show as far as weaving stories together, and they had 4 matches where they weaved all of the stories together. It was pretty cool, and it all ended with Randy Orton winning the #1 contendership for the the WWF Championship against Drew McIntyre at Clash of Champions, not the Night of Champions, the Clash of Champions. Now, the Clash of Champions is, of course, the creation of Dusty Rhodes, and it was a former Jim Crockett Promotions WCW event, and it was phased out by Eric Bischoff in the mid-90s when he decided that that instead of doing clashes, which are TV events, they were TV events, sort of similar to Saturday Night's Main Event. They were sort of big shows that they would put on TV. This format would kind of be brought back by people like TNA would do it, and AEW does them. NXT did it with the Great American Bash. Those are sort of big TV pay-per-view-ish kind of shows, and or pay-per-view quality TV shows. And that was basically what the Clash of Champions was. And they pretty much, Eric Bischoff decided to kill it. But occasionally WWE brings it back. They kind of go back and forth with the whole Clash of Champions, Night of Champions thing. I'm not so sure what it was in 2019. I think it was Clash of Champions in 2019. But I remember it being Night of Champions for a long time. But in any event, it's a pretty cool, concept. I like when they bring back a little bit the WCW stuff. I don't mind that. So Randy Orton won the triple threat match, which was in the main event. But to get to that point, we had 3 singles matches. We had Keith Lee versus Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton, and Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. So Keith Lee versus Dolph Ziggler was fun. It was a really fun match. Dolph bumped his ass off for Keith Lee, which is what Dolph does. Dolph is a bumper. That's what he does. He exists to be turned into a human pinball. That's his thing. But it was a fun match. Dolph didn't go out like a bitch or anything. He had some real offense, and he had Keith Lee kick out of the zigzag. Dolph really should protect his moves. He kind of used a little bit of his grappling, which was fun. It was always fun to watch Dolph do a little bit of shoot style. But basically, this match was basically just showing off Keith Lee's ability and his devastating powerbomb, which they have really put over as a big deal. Like Dolph, and we'll get to Seth Rollins, who basically ended up on the top of his own that damn head. But it was good. It was a good match. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton wasn't in the match at all. Randy Orton sort of went to have a conversation with our boy Aleister Black, who decided to beat the hell out of Kevin Owens before the match and hit him with ran his head up against the LED boards and, gave him a black mask before the match started. Now, I don't like that, Kevin Owens was basically still lucid after all of this. Like, you would think after you get, a black mask, he's supposed to be down and out for a while. Kevin Owens was continuing to try to fight. This was during his entrance, so he didn't really do anything. And then he landed like 3 chops before he took an RKO and got pinned. I guess you got to shit on Aleister Black a little bit. You got to shit on him a little bit now that he's a heel. He's not buried, by the way. I didn't forget all those people who said that Aleister Black was going to get buried. I'm just going to do that video later. Okay? We're going to go back through all the people who said that Aleister Black was getting buried. It didn't happen. But it was a cool story, obviously. It made it seem like Randy Orton put Aleister Black up to it, talked him into it, because he was in Aleister Black's dressing room, or his dark corner, before the match with Kevin Owens, so that was pretty cool. Rey Mysterio was supposed to wrestle Seth Rollins. They said Rey was injured, so they put Dominic in that place instead, and Dominic wrestled Seth Rollins. Boy, I hope they pay Seth Rollins a lot more money now with the amount of carrying he's had to do for Dominic the last month or so. But Dominic didn't look bad. Again, he just does his lucha stuff. That's all he really knows how to do. He's still learning how to actually work. And, Seth just won the match. But before Seth won the match, during the introductions, Seth Rollins really kind of blew up at Murphy. And he told Murphy that, he was mad Murphy kicked him in the head and got pinned. He mad Murphy kicked him in the head. Because Seth Rollins didn't get pinned and lose that match at Payback. Murphy lost. So he told Murphy to go away and figure out what kind of man he wanted to be, and he smacked him in the back of the head and all that type of stuff. He really smacked him in the back of the head like he was a little kid. Like you see people like this, after they get a haircut in the hood, you smack him in the back of the head like while the alcohol's still on him. That's kind of how you treated Murphy. You treat him like a little boy, and they did a little, Murphy was a little frustrated at that. He mugged him a little bit, and Seth kicked him out and told him to get out of my ring, get out of here. And then, he just straight up won. Just straight beat Dominic. I guess it was a way of protecting Ray. Okay, cool. I really could see less Dominic now, or I could see, or I want to see, if you're going to have Dominic wrestle, he needs to wrestle somebody else. Because I really think that we kind of have to get out of this whole Dominic, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio thing. We have to get out of this. Like, this thing has been going on since June. We gotta get out of this. It's actually been going on since May. Since Becky Lynch said she was pregnant. So this has been going on, since June, because that's when she said she was pregnant. Yeah, so, which was right after Money in the Bank. So yeah, we've been doing this for 2-3 months now. It's over, bruh. I'm done with it. And as much as I kind of like seeing Dominic progress and grow as a performer, I'm really kind of think that Seth Rollins needs like a serious opponent. And I want something, developing with a Murphy. And Murphy did get a lot of development, even though he didn't say anything. We see that Rollins, smacking him in the back of the head and kicking him out of telling him to fuck off and all that type of stuff. We see that could lead to something later. We see that has, that seeds for the future, and that maybe we're going to turn Murphy face, and I'm cool with that. But I want Murphy to change his look as well. So we had the 3 guys: Keith Lee, Randy Orton, and Seth Rollins, and that leads to the triple threat match. Triple threat match was fun. I hate triple threat matches, because they almost always end the same way. With the exception of the Payback triple threat match, most triple threat matches end with, I hit my finisher, and then the guy comes out of nowhere and pushes me outside the ring, or hits me in the nuts, or does literally anything to me, and then he steals my pin. And that's exactly what happened. Keith Lee does his big power bomb, and Seth Rollins sells it like he got shot out of a cannon. And then, he goes for the pin and RKO, and then Randy Orton pins Seth Rollins. And now it's Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. We took the long way round to get Keith Lee out of this situation, because Keith Lee beat Randy Orton. So we had to go a long way round to get Keith Lee out of this situation so that Randy Orton can wrestle Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at Clash of Champions. And this is where I think Randy actually wins the title. I think that, Randy has done his job well, as far as he put over Keith Lee clean. He put over Drew McIntyre clean. He derailed. Did he derail his own push? Not really, because, Randy is not harmed by these losses at all. Because he's been around for so long, he's kind of bulletproof. But it does set up, if Randy were to win, that he has to get that win back against Keith Lee. So we kind of have to say, okay, well, once Randy, which is September the 27th, is Clash of Champions. After that match, after I'm almost certain Randy Orton's going to win the title this time. And then after that match, we have to go back to Orton Lee. And, I think about that time about Survivor Series, right? Because October Survivor? No, October Survivor Series is in November. So maybe they have to do a third McIntyre Orton match, because I think October is Hell in a Cell. So maybe they'll do a third Orton McIntyre match in Hell in a Cell or something like that. And even though I hate that the Hell in a Cell match is like stuck right there, stuck right there. Like, you gotta have a Hell in a Cell match because it's Hell in a Cell time. I'm like, get the fuck. But we got to it's the right person. Randy is the right person to take the title off of Drew McIntyre. I really would have preferred for Randy not to take that clean loss to Keith Lee to get to this point. But it's basically just putting Randy back where he was. It made Randy whole, by putting, even though he's not whole because he actually got pinned by Keith Lee clean. So he needs to, of course, get that win back, but he's not going to get it back immediately. We're going to circle back there over time. At least I hope so. I hope it's not something stupid like we're going to do on Raw, Randy Orton versus Keith Lee, and then Keith Lee eats a RKO and that's it, and then now he's out the way because he didn't lose the triple threat match. Seth Rollins got pinned, but whatever. We need to have this match, this Orton McIntyre match, and probably Orton. Maybe McIntyre will be back by the September. Will it be the 7th Raw? Then that'll be fun, maybe. But this was a decent show. I like how they weaved all the stories together to tell the story of the main event, and then in the main event they told a unique, different story with Randy and Seth. They were trying to work. Randy abandoned the Seth early, even though he agreed to work with him. He decided not to. And Keith Lee fighting both of these guys by himself and being really overpowering and hitting them with pounces and being athletic and all that type of stuff. They told a decent story in the match. Just not thrilled about triple threat matches. I hate triple threat matches, man. But they used a creative way of using the show to tell 3 stories. Now, what they're going to do for the next 4 weeks? That's a good question. Because you really could have stretched this out, and told some different stories along the way. But it seems like they just decided to blow their load on this 1 week. But whatever. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think that this time Randy Orton actually wins the title? Or do you think Drew McIntyre wins again? Let me know in the comment section below. Like this video, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys later.